good evening, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Business PNG. The National Development Bank has been persistent in its drive to ensure growth and development amongst businesses, especially in the small to medium enterprise sector. Now, the bank has proven through the different initiatives that they are supporting the government's Vision 2050, specifically the pillar of wealth creation. Amongst the many initiatives, this year's first ever Youth in Business Summit will be held in the following weeks. And here to talk to us about this is Des Yaninen, Chief Executive Officer of NDB Investments. So you're in charge of NDB Investments. What exactly does that entail?
NDB Investments is primarily a business incubator. So it runs business incubation programs for the people of Papua New Guinea. Now, NDB Investments is not a new company. It was first incorporated back in 1976. It was formerly known as Retail Management Services. And the role of Retail Management Services was to manage all of the street pass and stores that we had around the country. So over the last 30 years, we had over 200 stores that this company managed. So this company has been revived, but this time it's been renamed NDB Investments. And instead of just limiting the incubation services to just the retail sector, we're looking at a whole range of activities as well. We're looking at incubation programs for young people. We're looking at creating things like incubation centers where SMEs can operate from it, and a few other programs that will really help our businesses grow. The reason why business incubators are really important in the world is because there is a high failure rate for startups. You know, 80% of all startups will fail in the first 5 years. That is a global statistic. And I suspect that here in Papua New Guinea, the failure rate might be a little bit higher, only because of who we are as a people. We tend to help whenever there's a need in the community. So therefore, the failure rate might be a little bit higher. Now, the failure rate without startups is about 80% of all SMEs. But when you put them on an incubation program, the failure rate is reduced down to 10%. So in other words, there's a 90% success rate when startups go through some form of incubation support. And that's really what the NDB Investments is. It's a business incubator. Under the NDB group, we also have People's Microbank, which provides microfinance and savings solutions to Papua New Guinea. So in the whole scheme of things, that is what we do. We focus on providing business incubation services to Papua New Guinea. Okay.
So your passion when concerning youths in business and unemployment rates is overwhelming. Tell us about this group in the population. Are there gaps?
There are definite gaps in this group, in the population. So in Papua New Guinea, in many homes in Papua New Guinea, we define success as having a good job. And in order for you to have a good job, you need a good education. And that's why we drive our children to go to school, finish school, go on to uni, do your master's degree, and keep continuing on. And the more qualifications you have, the more successful you might be. So with that in mind, every year, well, in 2014, we had about 24,000 young people sit for the Year 12 exams. Now, there are only 4,000 spaces in our tertiary institutions for first years. So this year, about 4,000 of those young people were accepted into colleges and universities. Now, what happened to the other 20,000 of them? If there are no opportunities provided to these young people without the appropriate education and experience, they won't be able to get jobs, and they won't be able to contribute meaningfully to society. Now, because I said that success is defined as having good qualifications so you can get a good job, because they don't have offers to continue after Year 12, they feel disempowered. They feel like failures, or many times we call them dropouts. You know, and what do these young people do? Because they haven't got an offer, they feel like failures, they stick around with mom and dad. And they feel disempowered. Many times what they do is they wait, they try to go back to school to upgrade their marks. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. We see many of them maybe applying to business colleges here and there, trying to get further skills so that they can get a job. And what we're trying to do is try to change the mindset of Papua New Guineans so that, you know, we shouldn't really define success all the time as having a good job. It can also be from owning a business, you know. And we want to create more employers as opposed to employees. So there is a definite gap there, and therefore we want to present an alternative to success for these young people. To be successful, you don't necessarily have to continue on to university and then start looking for a job. You can actually start when you're young and start up a business. And that's where we come in to try to encourage them to get into business as an alternative.
Okay. So what these gaps that you mentioned, what is NDB doing about them?
So under the Stretpass Business Incubator, we developed a youth in business incubation program to assist these young people to get into business. Now, many young people have really, really creative and brilliant business ideas. Yeah. But one of the things they lack is starting capital. And when they go to banks and financial institutions and they inquire about getting a loan, most times, not most times, in fact, 100% of the time, the banks will ask you for two things. They will ask you for equity and they will ask you for security. And almost 99% of the time, young people fresh out of school with no experience really don't have any assets to pledge as security or any equity to contribute to the venture. So how do you create youth businessmen and businesswomen? That's why we developed this program, to provide a pathway to get these people funded, and so we can set them up to become businessmen and businesswomen of the future. Okay. Now, the reason why banks and financial institutions insist on equity and security is because it's extremely risky lending to startups. Yep. Now, I mentioned earlier that 80% of all startups will fail in the first 5 years. Yeah. Now, especially for these young people with no prior experience in running a business, no training, they don't have the right habits. Many times we spend everything that we earn. We don't have a savings culture. So the risk of lending to these young people is very, very high. So under the Young Enterprise Scheme that we've developed, we've put in place some systems and some programs that will hopefully mitigate these risks to make these young people more creditworthy. So in the program that we've come up with, we provide entrepreneurial training as the first part of the program, and then we encourage them to set up their own micro business and run it consistently for a period of 6 months or 24 weeks. Over that 24-week period, we give them report templates that they have to fill out. So they have to present to us weekly reports on how well the business is going. So it's only the young people who faithfully present those reports and run the businesses in, I guess, with a level of commitment and dedication to it. After the end of the period, then they qualify for funding. Okay. So the first batch of the Young Enterprise Scheme that we have was first launched in December last year. We are currently 8 months into the program, and the first batch of these young people should be qualifying for funding in the next couple of weeks. So we're looking at almost 50 young people who will be receiving about 2 million kina in funding.
Awesome. On to the Youth and Business Summit. There's a Youth and Business Summit coming up hosted by the NDB that will take place from the 7th to the 8th September, am I right? Tell us a little bit about that.
That's right. So the Youth and Business Summit is possibly the first of its kind in Papua New Guinea. There are 4 aims of the summit now. For the first time, we would like to highlight the importance of empowering youth enterprises in Papua New Guinea. So many times we've had a spotlight on many different areas, different genders, different age groups, but for the first time we'd really like to focus the national attention on young people and the importance of empowering their businesses. So there are 4 main aims of the summit. That's the first one, to highlight the importance of young people in business. The second is to provide an avenue for young people to come and voice their concerns about the challenges and the issues that they face getting into business. So, you know, either aspiring business people or current young entrepreneurs, you know, just come together and let's talk about all of the concerns and challenges that you face. The third one is to showcase the many opportunities that are currently existing and available to young people, but they're not able to tap into these opportunities only because they're not aware of these opportunities. For example, many companies require young people or informal sector to become distributors of their products. But many young people are not aware of these opportunities, and therefore they can't participate.
Yeah.
So that's the third aim of the summit, to really highlight what all of these opportunities are to young people in the different sectors. And finally, the last aim of the summit is to come up with multi-sectoral solutions to address these youth challenges. So when I say multi-sectoral solutions, many times when we host a conference, we come up with a set of recommendations to present to the government. But this time, I want us to come up with multi-sectoral solutions and to talk about the roles that all the different stakeholders have in empowering young people in business. So it's not just the government. You know, what role do churches play? What role do NGOs play? What role does the private sector play? So we'd also like to come up with some of those solutions and really get everyone to work together and think about how best we can empower youth businesses in Papua New Guinea.
So as someone who is, young yourself and who works very closely with young entrepreneurs, do you have any, for people who are watching, young entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs who are watching this show and this interview, do you have some advice that you'd like to share with them?
What I'd like to tell our young people is this, just because you drop out from school, you don't have an opportunity to continue into uni, or you're unable to find a job, that doesn't mean that you wallow in self-pity and you feel disempowered and you feel that you can't do anything. Papua New Guinea, the economy is young. There's plenty of room for growth still. And all you have to do is start up a small business. Now, many times you might think of starting a business as in, wow, I buy a PMV, or I set up this or set up that. And then it seems daunting. But you can keep your vision, but start small. And we call that, in layman's terms, thinking big, but starting small. So business is a real avenue for you to achieve success in life. And we'd like to encourage young people to aspire not just to become an employee, but to become an employer, so that young people can create jobs for other young people as well. In terms of participation in business, there are only 49,500 SMEs in Papua New Guinea compared to 7.5 million people. That's less than 1% of our population who are running business. And that represents a huge opportunity for participation in this sector. So that's why young people, if you start young in business, by the time many of your colleagues would have finished university, you would already be running a very successful business. And in other parts of the world, they glorify young and successful entrepreneurs and business owners. Some countries have something called a young rich list, top richest people under the age of 40. Why can't we have that in Papua New Guinea? So that's really the vision that I have for young people, is that, hey, look, if you're not able to continue in education, that's fine. Papua New Guinea is young, we are resource rich. Look at business as a real alternative. And with the Young Enterprise Scheme that we're rolling out, the first one is in Papua New Guinea, but the vision is to one day have this scheme rolled out in all the provinces of Papua New Guinea, so that once young people come out of school, if they're disengaged, if they have nowhere to go, then hey, start a business and maybe one day you'll be successful.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, sir. Thank you for joining us on Business PNG.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Coming up on the show, an NBB special Entrepreneur Engage. Stay with us. NDB Investments Young Enterprise Scheme, popularly branded by its acronym YES, is a 2-year program providing training, mentoring, management, and funding for keen entrepreneurs. In this edition of Entrepreneur Engage, we hear the story of some bright young entrepreneurs from the program and how the training has shaped their businesses. We present Entrepreneur Engage, the YES edition.
Hi, I'm Grace Ilave Ila, and I run a company called Delightful Options. I am a professional in the field. I studied for 10 years in my profession, but after I had my children, for the last 3 years I've been at home I've always had a passion for PNG, and I believe PNG has so much to offer to the global market. And I believe that we haven't quite gone there yet, but we're getting there. So I knew I had a part to play. I've gone to a local school. I went to high school at Kila Kila. And I got a scholarship, went to New Zealand, and my eyes were open to a lot of things. I'm also mixed race. I'm half Papua New Guinean and half overseas, and I've seen both sides of the world, and PNG has some of the best things in the world. People, things, places. So I wanted to contribute, and NDB gave us an opportunity to do so when they opened up the Young Enterprise Scheme. They actually gave us an opportunity to run a business, and they're coming alongside us. So I joined YES because I was talking about all the wonderful things I wanted to do, the dreams I had to grow PNG and grow PNG business. And one of my friends said, look, and gave me a newspaper cutting, and that's how I ended up in the Young Enterprise Scheme program. So with Delightful Options, I knew I had so many ideas, and I wanted to be able to bring them all together. So under the name Delightful Options, I sell mainly Fijian lotions. Now, why is a Papua New Guinean selling Fijian products? I've used these products for the last 8 years, almost 10 actually, and their quality, and I've loved using them. So I wanted to be able to give everybody in PNG the opportunity to also use them. And at the same time, I knew that Papua New Guinea was able to make and have products like this. So I want to be able to sell Fijian products, this pure Fiji, which is excellent quality, and to make sure that Papua New Guinean products come up on the market. So in the near future, maybe if I get a chance again, I'll be on Business PNG marketing Papua New Guinean made products. I believe Papua New Guinea deserves quality. We have a lot of wonderful things here already in the country, but there's still a lot more that we can bring in that's top quality for our people. But at the same time, PNG has a lot we can offer, and I wanted to be a networking, a bridge to bring that in. So that's where Delightful Options, that's why Delightful Options is here. We're here to bring Papua New Guinea the best, and to bring in the best, and also to be able to export the best to the world. As well as products, I also do things and make things. So I do weddings, I make bouquets for brides, corsages for grooms, bouquets for the bridesmaids, and I decorate not only for weddings but any event. So that's why Delightful Options gives you an option. You have a choice of where you want to get stuff in. If you need it, let me know, and I'll try and find it and make sure it's the best quality that I can get you. So with me, I have two of my business partners. This is Mrs. Awa, and this is Yana. Mrs. Awa makes beautiful jewelry. She made necklaces for me, and she actually custom made my wedding jewelry.
I make pearls. I started as a hobby. So when Grace was going to have a wedding, her mom came to me and asked me if I could do a pearl, a necklace. So I did a pearl, and Grace saw the pearl, and she decided to want to include me in a program here, her sales.
So I am a mother myself, and I am a full-time mother, so I work out of home. And so what I've done is I've brought in, well, to start off with, wedding dresses. So wedding dresses, I'm just testing the market now pretty much. So I have, I think, 13 at the moment. I'm just trying to see what people want, and I'm just trying to offer, you know, because the thing is, everyone wants to feel beautiful on their wedding day, and so I'm just trying to offer every lady the chance to feel beautiful and look beautiful, and it be affordable, because I know you can buy stuff here, maybe not what you want, not the quality you want, not the price you want. And I also, when I was in Cairns, I did a makeup course, so I am a certified makeup artist, so I do that. I've done, I think, 3 weddings so far. And so yeah, that's basically what I do.
NDB's offered us in the Young Entrepreneurship Scheme some training. So they asked us to put in 500 kina to start off with, and then from there we'd go on to training, and they've offered us 2 years worth of training. So in fact, when I first heard it, I was amazed. I was like, that's wonderful value. And the training so far has been really good. They've taught us all the basic principles of marketing and of starting up a business. They really go into the nitty-gritty, and what I mean by nitty-gritty is recording and the basics, and that's where a lot of Papua New Guinean businesses have fallen, because we're not able to do the small things right. And as the businesses grow and expand, suddenly they find a lot of holes in the ship, so to speak, and that actually can sink a ship. And that's what's happened to a lot of young PNG businesses. But with the help of the Young Enterprise Scheme and the training that they've brought in, the trainers are from SPDC, I think it is. They've done a wonderful job. Unfortunately, it's squeezed in to just 2 weeks or a few days training, but what we have been able to get out of it is basically discipline, commitment, and PNG has a lot to offer. But because our people, we are so blessed, we're also a bit lazy. So PNG, we gotta work hard. We have so much to offer. But if we don't work hard and make use of what we have, people are gonna come and take it from us.
I've been finishing grade 12 lo 2013 na mino making through lo tertiary institution. So 2014 mi wako stape mi wako pandaba mi wako monem na deslakain. So mi wako try lo finding opportunities lo go back to school or work. So time mi wako stape mi wako reading newspaper na deslakain ya mi come across lo display advertisement where Young Enterprise Scheme wako and publishing lo media. So lo apna mi looking mo sa one opportunity where me can join in na go inside lo business. So me no wasting time, yes, go sim application form mi fill in, mi mitimo kata requirements, so sem pay ma registration fee na all illegal one me documents mi submit him, na now mi stop inside lo Young Enterprise Scheme. Time mi stop lo one something when motivate me lo go join him Young Enterprise Scheme lo come up with businessman or entrepreneur through lo grade 12 teacher blo mi been mi plabing having desla KAB training inside lo class business teacher bin. So motivate me lo come up own boss blo mi yet. So desla tintina am stop one time so time desla opportunity come lo Young Enterprise Scheme, maybe gonna join him. So time me join him, me look lo one business where by me own him na one business where me got him save logan. So past some couple of years where I'm go finish here, me got him experience lo got him chicken. So me choose lo kama poultry. I'm more 1 week old. So this la block is a good 2 weeks and After 1 week, sabi sa remove this la case comes open in white so I'm go 2 weeks old now. Okay, Mr. Safety Mall 2 weeks one come inside lo here and week 3 go lo week 4 lo here inside lo this section. Okay. Time me put mall come on top lo here. Mr. Chinupla stock come put mall lo up and this la running first week plan, this la running third week plan. Now okay, next lot, Mr. All go 4 weeks lo here, Mr. Salomon come inside lo here, lo half side. So this la now week 5 na 6, na 7 logan, and Mr. sells out lo here, 7 na 8 weeks. So Mr. rotating or some kind inside lo here. But because of training this la kind now, okay, mino more stocks na come to more. But hopefully after funding and by me come. After lo training and by me come na put more stocks na by me continue lo business. Narapla all youths we all stop around lo. Country Blayumi, Young Enterprise Scheme open, Loyu nami. Lo those where you mean no making true lo tertiary institutions or you mean no employed lo work here, Loyu so no gantino sem lo all school line or one you educated or you no educated or you employed or you no employed or one kind person where you stop here, Young Enterprise Scheme Loyu. As long as you citizen blow Papua New Guinea.
And that's all we have for you tonight. For more business news, if you would simply like to view this episode again, visit MTV online at www.mtv.com.pg, or to join the conversation, like our page on Facebook for daily business news, or follow us on Twitter at Business PNG using the hashtag Business PNG. Until next week, enjoy the rest of your viewing on MTV. I'm Leon Gerari, and this was Business PNG.